Welcome back, everybody, to our Medieval Total War Glorious Achievements campaign with the Holy Roman Empire of the Germans. And we're starting off in AD 1156 at near the beginning of the reign of our very young Emperor Heinrich V, a great warrior but a drinker who has put down a single rebellion in Bavaria. And now we're going to end the season and see what the AI is up to. We know that there's a crusade by the French, our allies, on the way to Edessa. And another recent development is that the Danes have been expanding into Normandy, as you can see here. Very interesting there. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any signs of that French crusade. I last saw them in Constantinople, but we had a big Turkish emergence in the last episode, and I'm not sure what happened to them. Okay, we've got some interesting traits on that governor there. Let's check out this Danish expansion. So Normandy was one of two settlements that had joined in a French rebellion or actual civil war. And this had been rebel for quite a while. The Danes pounced on it, so they took it here. Let's take a look at their alliances. They are allied with the English, but they are not allied with the French. That could be a bit of a problem for us. So we are allied to the Danes currently. Very interesting to see that they have taken all of Scandinavia, as expected. You know, I knew they would get there eventually. But this was a little unexpected, and I'm very happy to see it. Isn't it perfectly fitting for a northern faction to go down and carve out Normandy for itself? So we see, do we have any border force? No, we don't. Let's go ahead and get some watchtowers going. We can see what kind of military they have. I'm a little scared of the Danes, actually. They have, typically, it seems like they have a lot of heirs, and they have a lot of troops that are, you know, concentrated right around here. And as the Germans, you don't. You are spread out like crazy, as you can see. We're maintaining most of our forces at the border of Toulouse. We've recently ended this war with the Spanish and actually got them on our side. They are an ally currently. I don't expect that to change, but you never know. They are currently at war with the Almohads. Hopefully that'll keep them honest. But I'm not going to be moving these guys unless I really need to. We also have some weak defenses in the south, some sort of token defenses to stave off Italian aggression. Again, we're allied with them. We're allied with everybody, every single one of our neighbors except for the English. But the Danes being allied with the English is a bit alarming, right? Because if they go to war with the French, we'll have to choose. At this point, I'd probably choose the Danes, honestly. The French are really not that much of a threat. We've got the forces around here to contain them if that becomes an issue. But I don't necessarily want to conquer these provinces either, because my borders are going to get very weird. They're already a little weird, extended into southern France here, but taking more of this territory is only going to make it more of a headache. So I'd rather, if I'm going to take a place like Champagne and Ile-de-France. That would just make more sense from a strategic point of view, but that might get me in war with the Danes. And, you know, maybe that's something that, maybe that's not going to be as big of a deal as I'm imagining. But the other issue is that the Danes are providing me with a decent amount of trade currently. We're trading from Saxony, from Friesland, and from Flanders in England and around Denmark, and we're going to be hitting the Baltic Sea actually on the following turn here. So let's take one of these barks and move it up through here. There's also a single port at the Norwegian Sea, which is a very interesting design choice not to make this part of just the North Sea, because it makes you think, do I want to spend the upkeep costs on a ship, which are going to be something in the order of, 20 costs. Actually, it's probably going to be 40, because this one does border my own territories. But at any rate, you're going to be spending some upkeep costs for a single port. That's all that this region is ever going to offer. So that's not going to give you that much trade income. Maybe at some point it does become worth it, but at any rate, let's get our emissary. I don't know that we need him hanging around Prussia. Let's see, the people of Novgorod, I haven't bothered to seek their alliance. Maybe that would be a good idea. They're allied with the Byzantines. If they would ally with me and drop their alliance with the Byzantines, arguably that would weaken them a little bit. That's one of only a few allies that they have. They're at war with me, the Turks, the French. So yeah, let's see if we can get an alliance. I don't have a lot of hope that that's going to work, but it might get our emissary another point of valor there. Okay, and we had been moving our emissaries around here to try to find that French Crusade. we would get a message telling us that it had failed if that was the case. So I don't think it has failed yet, but they seem not to have progressed against the Turks. Now, maybe they went up into Trebizond. I guess that's another option. So let's send our emissary up here. Very interestingly, we are not at war with the Turks. And I really wonder how this is going to go. The Byzantines are now going to have to take back these two provinces, which is just delicious. I love that. So let's go ahead with another bishop down here. Oops. And we do have some interesting mercs. We could get Byzantine infantry of our own. We could get this very nice Khwarezmian cavalry, sort of like cheap cataphracts is the impression I get from this unit. I don't know if they're quite as good as cataphracts, but these units are both fairly expensive, and I don't think I need them right now. I mean, these couple of stacks could be a problem. Let's see what we have here. Do we have like a decent army? Okay, we've got Henry the Lion. Let's make him the Prince of Antioch, I think. And just for the loyalty there. And he's got good acumen. He's sort of good all around. Very, very good, a good general unit. And unfortunately, since we can't merge mercenaries, we're just going to have to ditch that unit. Let's see. I want to keep the Swabians. Theoretically, they may be retrained at some point. And can we merge any of these guys? I don't think we have any other feudal sergeants, which are, you know, step up from spears, or feudal men-at-arms, sort of a good all-around Catholic unit for the early period. Yeah, we don't have any other of those units just hanging around, so I think we're going to have to kind of go with what we've got here. Yeah, we can train peasants, but I don't think that's going to be all that useful. So maybe we do want some mercs. Let's see. These archers are kind of cheap. Let's see, who would be better? Let's get one of each. I think we can afford to start getting some, you know, some archers anyway. And that's going to be really helpful because the Byzantines like their archers. They like their horse archers. And so I'll take those 3 units and we'll set them up here and hope they don't rebel on the way. Yeah, so that's not looking very promising. But otherwise the generals down here look pretty loyal. So I think with that done, our income's looking okay, but let's just wait before we do anything else crazy. And the season. There it is. There's that crusade. Awesome. So they did go up to Trebizond, and they're kicking the Byzantines out of Edessa. Oh my gosh, we're tearing this place up. Just think of the chaos we caused, right? Our crusade moves through. Once they attacked us, by the way, I was trying to get an alliance with their emperor, but they wouldn't have it. And so they attacked us in Antioch, took it back. Our crusade went through their territory, had a battle or two, took it back, in the course of which the chaos that we caused the Turks to re-emerge as a faction, which the Byzantines have not been able to deal with at all yet, and also encouraged the French to pile on. So they may be very advanced in terms of technological upgrades and so on, but that's just going to make more loot and plunder for their neighbors, I think. We've got another heir here. We only have 2 currently. All those older or younger brothers of the current king or uncles are no longer in the line for the throne. Again, that's not as much of an issue for the Germans as it is for other factions. Okay, we've got Chrétien de Troyes. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I think I've heard it pronounced that way. So he's the Arthurian chronicler, legend writer, right? And so minus 10% zeal in all of France. So this is one of those interesting events that that can increase or decrease the zeal, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're trying to get a crusade through here, that's a bad thing, right? It decreases the number of men who are going to join up willingly. If you are defending against inquisitors, that is a good thing. We haven't seen those yet, but they will be coming along. Ah, and here we go with a chinless wonder trait. Okay. Well, I think we've seen this before in our family tree, so, you know, I guess it makes sense it's popping up again. Although there is no logic to this trait. It is random. Okay, we're getting some nice traits on some other characters, but let's see how our Prince Conrad looks in terms of loyalty. Very good. He's got 2 command stars. Nothing spectacular, but let's move him up towards Flanders, I think. Maybe Saxony. Maybe Flanders. Well, we've got our watchtowers in Flanders, so we can see what we're up against in Normandy. Yeah, see, this is the problem with the Danes. The Danes are, on the one hand, they're a Catholic faction. Additionally, they are unable to crusade. So you'd think, well, they're just a downgrade, right, from all the other Catholic factions that can crusade, because not only can they not make a crusade, they get all the same types of units, and they still have to worry about being excommunicated, so they have to be careful about what the Pope says. Seems like just a flat-out downgrade from, like, the French or the English. That is not the case. In the Viking invasion expansion, the Danes get a lot of that residual love. They get a lot of units that are specific to the Viking campaign. Now, the worst ones are these Viking thralls. On the other hand, these are like slightly upgraded peasants. They got a big shield, which peasants don't have, and they still got 100 men, and they're quite cheap. So this is a decent all-around unit for garrisons. They can also train Vikings, which I think they always could anyway, even before the expansion. But they also get these other units. Bonus versus armored troops, good attack, and armored. Viking landsmen are really, really solid. They can also make Viking Huskarls. Let's see if they're training any of those guys. I can't tell that they are. And we can't see into these provinces because they've got fleets there preventing us from looking in. But yeah, the Danes can get kind of monstrous. And their units could just tear through ours, at least in the early period. So we want to stay on their good side for another, 50, 75 years or so before we can start training a lot better stuff. And let's see how the Novgorod people are. This is a faction I really wish you could play in the early period, because they can train these Rus spearmen, which is just a cool looking unit. They can train Vikings as well. They get horse archers, they get woodsmen, and you can only play the Vikings in the High Era. But the people of Novgorod get all these cool units. They get boyars, which are their bodyguard. So it's a shame. They get the Slavs, apparently. I'd love to play this faction. I know you can do it. You can mod the game. It's not even that hard, but still, I wish it was default playable, because then you could do the glorious achievement stuff with a little less fuss. Okay, we're still making 1545 even with those mercenaries, so let's consider some upgrades here. We're going for a castle in Saxony, but we could also go up higher. This would spend a lot of money, but it might be worth it. A citadel in Swabia. This is just going to take us to the next level, which is going to unlock other developmental type things. Yeah, let's do it. I'm sort of sick of losing out on the tech front. Okay, and we can check out our crusading neighbors. We can't see what they have just yet. But let's help them out. Let's get a Catholic bishop up there. And then we'll eventually we'll be getting some watchtowers here to see how that's going. And wow, we've got rebellion in Trebizond. The Byzantines have lost this too. I'm going to keep an emissary here just to see what they do, because they may feel compelled to take it back. See, Constantinople is still strongly held. Yeah, let's just see what's going on. Okay, they're trying to take it back. They're massing in Syria. Okay, Charlotte is stepping down. Ah, Hildegard of Bingen. Okay, so this is highlighting Brandenburg. And she's, of course, a famous... is she a saint? I feel like she's got to be a saint. But she's sort of a visionary. She's a writer. She's got some music that's attributed to her, I believe. And so this is going to... Oh, this is very weird. +1 health in Germany. What even is health? +1 health. Okay, we do not get an alliance with the people of Novgorod. Alright, fair enough. We at least get a little bit of a sense of their strength. Lord the Lion. Yeah, it takes the surname, rather than just calling him Lord Henry, but okay. So, he's a good dude. He's a chivalrous Honorable warrior, very, very nice. But yeah, we've got +1 health in Germany, which, no idea what that is. You know, the information on the provincial panel here is, you know, it tells you there's loyalty, there's zeal, but I'm not sure what health would be. That can't refer to the hit points of units. I'll tell you what we are seeing, though, is some unrest, and I'm wondering what is going on there. Is it enemy spies, or is it something, some other type of effect? Is it just a consequence of my empire growing? I believe that can be the case. You can have unrest due to certain, you know, just how growth works. Okay, we've got a spearman here. What do we have in Saxony? You know, I'm going to go with an urban militia. Just a boring old urban militia. And this province, Brandenburg, what to do with it? Well, I think nothing. Let's fortify Austria. Because I think I'd rather have a keep here. Brandenburg is a little less useful. Austria is a big province controlling entrance into a lot of territories. Brandenburg, I feel like we can come back from if we lose that one. Okay. And the Byzantines did take back Trebizond. However, it looks like they're trying to take back Nicaea, and they're probably going to succeed there. So this army here, we've got cataphracts. John Comnenus, a member of the royal family, although not in direct line for the throne, leading a very strong unit of cataphracts here. And down here, yep, Lord Brannus. So these guys are getting better in terms of loyalty than they were a little while ago. And these armies are looking decent as well. Okay, that's going to fix their loyalty issues. Probably, though, probably should cool it with the archers after this. I think we've got enough down there. We need to start working on some slightly better stuff. When the Byzantines look weak, I'm going to make my move towards Palestine. Or if it looks like it's getting close to, you know, 1200. Otherwise, we are, I think, in something of a holding pattern, which does happen, especially when we're playing sort of a turtling Glorious Achievements game. You're looking for opportunities. You know, and if you're trying to play somewhat defensively, as I am, you're not necessarily trying to blitz through every place. Okay, good. The Byzantines have failed there. I'm really hoping the French are building. If they've got a fort going. Okay, that's probably the Byzantines. Okay. All right, Catholic Church is strengthened in Scandinavia. Very good. I mean, I guess it's good. Arguably, it's bad, because if the Danes are weak, that keeps them a little more in line longer. Yeah, Chinless Wonder, my least favorite trait. Okay, so let's check this out. Yeah, the other thing is the Vikings can train, or the Danes can train Vikings right out of a fort. That's all they need. So they're a little OP in this version of things. We are not at war with anybody else, so that was indeed this massive Byzantine fleet, which for some reason is operating off the coast of France, and just exists to wreck my trade. Well, I'm going to wait for them to just leave. I don't know that there's much point. I mean, this is costing them a lot of money. I'm not going to try to match them at sea. We don't have very good ships. I mean, the defense is okay, actually. Let's go ahead and train one. We're going to need to replace that boat anyway. But I'm not going to try to seek out conflicts with the Byzantine Navy. Okay, so they've taken that back. Not running into any loyalty problems there, although we could get a spy in here eventually and try to make life harder for them. I'd really like to... We could push them out of Syria, right? I'm sure you're shouting at me now. Just kill them in Syria, right? Well, I don't really want to fight in the desert. I'd rather not fight this big battle. And if they're going to attack me, I'd rather them do it defensively, and I think the French are kind of preventing them from doing that at the moment. So I think we're good. Just checking that loyalty. Okay, but we do have some more building we can do in Tripoli, and I'm really happy with our income. You know, we're spending significant stuff just about every turn. Now, because we're still at war with the Egyptians, and we're of course at war with the Byzantines, but the Turks have taken over some of this territory, so if they start to build ports, you know, it may be worth it for me to do the same. I don't think it is just yet. We could also build a chapter house right here, and what that would do is allow us to build a Crusade marker here, and then just go boom straight down to Palestine. Right, theoretically. The danger there is, let's say that you build a chapter house and get a Crusade marker built up, like we already have one here in Swabia. If Swabia is lost, our Crusade marker is lost, and I think that counts as you losing a Crusade, like you failed your Crusade, which would decrease your king's influence, which, as we've seen, goes up and down in this game. It was at max influence, and now it is not, and I just don't know why. Okay. Everything is going just fine here. Now, why did we have peasants queued up? Did I accidentally click peasants instead of the ship? Probably. Okay. Glad I checked that. Yeah, we're going to have him defend Flanders and possibly get some more training built up here. Let's see, this port, taking a look at just how lucrative naval income can be, naval trade, we're making 866 just off this port. Do we have any other places that have a port, or a trading post, rather? This place is making 216. It only has a single trade good, so, you know, that's part of the issue. But if we were to build a trading post here, or actually let's check Tripoli, because this has a trading post. This is making 62. It's not connected with any other ports through sort of a naval trade route, and so this is only trading internally. It's not trading with neighboring provinces. It doesn't have to. It'll generate some just small amount of internal trade, but they really take off once you start getting a chain of ships. So it may be worth it to upgrade Flanders to this level, the next level of merchant. But given that we've got this rogue Byzantine fleet, I don't think I want to do that right now. We're kind of getting keeps going everywhere, so let's see. I think, you know, maybe part of my issue in terms of public order is just the fact that we're not upgrading all that much. So, you know what, let's do watchtowers here. Let's do watchtowers here. And, yeah, watchtowers in Brandenburg. And why don't we go ahead and queue up the copper mine as well, since it doesn't seem like the Poles are likely to attack just yet. And the Hungarians, check out this border we've got with them. This is fantastic. They're massing all their armies, probably Carpathia, Wallachia. Maybe they're down in Bulgaria, too, at this point, although they're not at war with the Byzantines, are they? No. But they seem to be massing for that eventuality, which is very nice news for us. Let's get down to Kiev and see how the steppe looks. Then I might pop over to Khazar and come down this way. And we'll just sort of continue our tour. I want to keep my princess in Nicaea. This is possibly all the Turks own at this point. And what do the French have now that our bishop's in here? Alright, they do have a town watch, which looks like this is Byzantine. It looks like the French may have built this horse breeders guild. I don't think this is what the Orthodox one looks like. And then someone has improved the farmland here, which is kind of crazy. This can be a fairly wealthy province, I guess. It's got all these trade goods, unfortunately landlocked. But I hope they're building a port. Looks like they've got some very nice Knights Templar. The rest of their army looks pretty basic. And over here, same thing. They stole some Swabians from me. And they've got some, you know, assorted spearmen and a few archers. Okay. Alright, Byzantines trying to take back Nicaea. Oh, Hedwig. I think we may have lost our eyes on Nicaea. We'll see. Alright, so the King of England is dead. Let's see. No, we've still got her. She is Jutta. Okay, the Byzantines won. And the Turks apparently did not lose Anatolia because this is not their king. It's just a single unit of horse archers. So the Byzantines will take this back. They've got nobody in the fort here, which you can't bribe, unfortunately. This has got to be really inviting. If there were any neighbors who could take advantage of it. Oh my gosh, here's the Hungarians. Wow. Okay, good to know. Yeah, they've got lots of Sekeli, lots of horse archers, lots of ranged stuff, which makes them seem like less of a threat because, you know, horse archers in this game are not as tough to deal with as they were in, like, Rome and subsequent games, at least in some ways. But they could still do a lot of damage. And this is just really inviting. But we don't have our Holy Roman Empire goal just yet. Okay, and interestingly, I'm seeing we've lost Edessa as a Crusade objective. So we've got Antioch here. Palestine is still active. And Tripoli is here. As long as we hold those, we're going to get credit for them. But Edessa's gone. And possibly that's because it's in Catholic hands. I guess I've never noticed that. All right, let's see what we can build up here in Brandenburg then. Okay, we're going for the mines. Very good. All right, then Franconia. Yeah, let's see. This is making 227 up to 263. This does have iron. Let's get going on a horse farmer, just because eventually we'll want to probably make cav out of here of some description. One of the things I like too about the Glorious Achievements campaign, when you turtle, you kind of take it slow. Yeah, I kind of figured. Byzantines are the strongest, but the Turks are done. That's disappointing. Well, it certainly distracted the Byzantines for a little while. All right, Emperor Heinrich is a builder, so that's going to be helping that public order. Karl von Holland is a blackmailer, -3 loyalty. All right, that's potentially bad. He's got 2 command stars. He's in charge of that stack, so... Oh, okay. He's already quite good. We could give him a title, and he'd probably be totally okay with that. All right. I hope you're building French. See, I wish I could gift them some cash at this point. That would be very nice. Oh yeah, they're in the steppe. Okay, really, really interesting. Well, I want to keep my emissary there. There's no port here, but it's nice to see where all their armies are, or a good chunk of them anyway. We'll hang out here in Nicaea too. They may start crushing the French. The disappointing thing is I can't help the French, directly by moving in, right? Because that would be invading. If they build a fort, I can assist them if they're under siege. So that's why I'm waiting for that to happen, so I can at least kind of help them out. Okay, now our profits are very low because the Byzantines have taken over our trade in the English Channel. We are going to get a ship back in there in the next season. And, okay, they're still just at war with me and the French. Well, I'm going to leave all my other ships as they are. We're still doing a little bit of trading out of Friesland and Saxony, so it's somewhat worth it. But yeah, one of the things I was saying that I like about this Glorious Achievements campaign, when you're taking it slow, when you're kind of turtling, is that the AI kind of follows your lead, at least to an extent. There's not a ton of quick, massive invasions all over the map, right? They tend to be taking their time too. They're moving a little bit cautiously, it seems. You know, this is expert difficulty. If I were to start conquering like mad, they would be very aggressive too. But you can see that the Danes have sort of gotten themselves into a wall, and because we're allied, you know, again, expert difficulty, you'd expect them to just charge right at us, right? But no, they're maintaining the alliance because they've got fleets, and they've got an option to expand without causing any wars down in a rebel province like this. So it's very interesting to watch all these other factions taking their opportunities. The Italians were also moving down to, I think, Grenada, so let's eventually check that out. We've got some keeps and things. I just want to strengthen the walls there first. Although honestly, we've got enough men there to defend that, so that should not be a problem. It's more important in a place like Burgundy where we don't have a lot of people. And speaking of which, yeah, let's get an urban militia here. Income's back up because we just got our boat back in Flanders, so we're now doing all that trading again. 866 back online, and the Byzantine fleet is gone. Okay, they're moving down back to the Bay of Biscay, so let's just keep going with our ships. Still no command stars on any of these fleet captains, a little disappointing. Alright, and we could build in Antioch. You know, it may be time to see if the Byzantines are ready for a ceasefire. They may take it now because there's another enemy in their territory. They've got the French to worry about. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I think that's a good move once I see how the rest of their forces are dispersed. Because if I ally with them or ceasefire with them, I'd be at war with them again if the French, come under attack, and I want to defend the French, right? So potentially a bit of a problem there. So this second level of the shipyard is showing that it does nothing for us just yet. However, this will change later as the game progresses, as the eras advance. There will be certain events that will unlock different types of ships and different technologies. So eventually this will be useful. It might almost be a good idea to get it going now, but let's hold off for the moment. What I could do, I've been talking a lot about spies and assassins and things, and now we've got Flanders as what seems to be a fairly secure port. Let's go ahead with a tavern. So this is going to alone allow us to train assassins, and it's a prerequisite for the brothel, which allows you to train spies. So we can make Flanders our ships and agent province in the North Sea. Yeah, see, probably a good idea we started moving on this, because the AI also makes assassins. Thankfully, that assassin failed. This is a pretty decent governor in Saxony. And here we go. As soon as I start building the tavern, we get assassins moving around. So our emissary is killed. I'm going to guess it's the Byzantines, but you never know. I don't think they have any border forts built here, so it could be anybody. Okay, interesting. So the King of England has issued 16 articles defining all the legal dealings between the church and his servants. These articles limit the powers and rights of the clergy and the Pope when dealing with English matters. The English king gains influence, a decrease of piety as a result. All right. Let's wait for the Magna Carta. A little bit, 50 more turns. That'll reverse. Okay, secret envy's not good. Extra dread, -2 loyalty. But because he survived an assassination attempt, he gets +2 to his valor for the purpose of countering assassination attempts. So very nice. Apparently, the valor of your unit has some impact on whether you're likely to be assassinated. So these guys all have 0 valor currently, but this guy will be considered to have 2 valor against assassins. That's what it sounds like. I'm not totally sure if that's in fact how it works. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit harder for us to see what the Byzantines are doing because we don't have as many emissaries in the area. This guy has a single star of valor, which means he is somewhat resilient against assassins already. Let's go down to Georgia and see if we can find the Byzantine emperor. Maybe we can get them off our back for a little while. Alright, this castle's almost done. Let's see, Bohemia, yeah, Austria's still working. Yeah, we're losing cash. Okay, there's that Byzantine fleet again. So it's a Droman. 1 attack but 0 defense. So, like, theoretically, we could attack it. But it's got 3 command stars. You know, let's give it a shot. This is our best chance, probably, of beating it, because of its low defense. The command is probably going to save it. That's if it even sticks around. Yep, the assassins are out. Okay. So Cordoba, it looks like the Almohads have still managed to hold on to it. And I noticed the Italians moved down to Grenada. I believe they still have that. But, okay, here we go. The Spanish are moving south. All right. Hey, it worked. Fantastic. All right. So that'll give him a star. It's going to make him a little more effective. And we've got another ship coming, which means we can move him down next turn. We could probably move it this turn. I don't think it's going to interrupt trade just yet. So let's move him down. Another ship will take the place in the English Channel, and then we'll have a bit better trade going. We can probably also get another ship down here just to cover Spain a bit better. And I'm a little worried about the Almohads dying out at this point. All right, we're back up to full influence for some reason. Great, because you just don't want the Spanish to get into North Africa. Then they can go straight across, you know, into the Levant, and that can make them very powerful. Okay, so Saxony, our goal here is Gothic Knights. They're going to get a Valor bonus here. Gothic Knights are like late game, so we don't need to rush it, but we may as well start working on Cav. First part of that is going to be a horse farmer, so I guess we may as well. And we'll just keep that going. Let's see, what else did we get going here? Yes, we've got our trading post, and so now we can get a port in Toulouse. And I think that'll be good in terms of spending for the season. All right, everyone's still looking happy. The Byzantines still looking manageable. We've got like 8 full archer units here. They do not have a lot of heavy cav. They've got 1 unit, in fact. So, yeah. I think we can handle it. The next homelands counting is going to occur in 10 more seasons, 10 more years. So 1175 is what we're looking for there. We're currently ahead in points, but it's always good to maintain that lead. All right, the Byzantines, he's going to get another influence point and negative zeal because of this poet. Okay. So this is a little unfortunate because I kind of would like to cease hostilities. That might be the opening to sort of peace with us and the Byzantines. The French are around, but the Byzantines don't feel strong enough to attack them yet. We can start working on subterfuge to weaken the Byzantines in the region, and then really start working on trade down here, because I'd love to get trading with Egypt and North Africa. So yeah, let's do that. And the Byzantines wants to marry our princess. That will cancel their alliance, our alliance with the French. You know what? I don't think I need to be allied to the French anymore. Let's do it. Let's do it. We've totally flipped. We're allied with the Byzantines. We're still allied with the French, but that's going to end. We're going to have to choose in the next season, and I'm going to stick with the Byzantines. I just don't want any more of their territory, right? I don't care about Lesser Armenia. I don't particularly want Syria. Although it can be decent in terms of wealth, but I don't want to defend it. All right, very interesting. Let's just keep our emissary moving around, and that is really going to help us in terms of income. That's probably already helping us slightly. We've got our trading post in Tripoli. We can now start working on a trading post in Antioch, because we can now trade with these islands. And if the Byzantines build back up in Anatolia, that can be very wealthy also. So let's go ahead with a trading post here and a port here. And we've got a Crusade marker, so if it looks like there's trouble, we can certainly send that down. Now, I had just said we're going to think about Palestine. And, you know, we really may, but here's the thing. If I weaken the Egyptians too much, I worry that that helps the Spanish, right? Because they're doing okay down here in Spain currently. And if that keeps up, they can just barnstorm across North Africa. And I'd rather have the Egyptians there as sort of a block on them. Okay. We've got our other ship that came with a command star, it looks like. Very nice. And, you know, we may want to keep building boats. Let's do it. We just want some extra ships. We'll extend our trade network a little bit further down to Spain, and then probably stop. But having an extra ship will also help in case there's a storm or an unexpected war. Yeah, so they're attacking. Okay, what's this? Hoping it's not the Danes. Oh, interesting. Okay, we're at war with the Byzantines again. Fine, that sucks because they stole a princess off of us. And then they attacked us immediately thereafter. So what a bunch of jerks. Okay, at least we're at peace with the Egyptians. But yeah, now we need to choose. If we want to remain allied with the Hungarians, this will cancel our alliance with the Polish. I would say, based on what I've seen, the Hungarians are stronger, and they're a little more relevant to me in terms of if I end up crusading through here. The Hungarians, I don't want to have to fight them. So yes, let's remain allied with the Hungarians. We'll be no longer allied with the Poles, which means we need to really give some thought to our northeastern borders. But the Poles look fairly weak. Look at these forces in Poland. Just a little bit of territory. We may want to move on this opportunity before the Hungarians snap it all up. Emperor Heinrich is a great builder. Very nice. So yeah, let's see how the Poles are doing. Yeah, they've got nobody. Poor guys. All right, so let's train up some other emissaries. And then we're going to get going on some units again, because I need to reinforce this stuff. This is just ridiculous. I will go ahead and like retrain this unit. But they've got very, very little here. And in fact, this may rebel. Look at how built up this province is. Pomerania has got trade going. I mean, this would be great to have. There is going to be a glorious achievement objective for me to get places like Pomerania, Prussia, at some point. So that is coming. So I'm not in a hurry, but, you know, if I could get rid of this protrusion into my empire, I wouldn't say no. So if it looks like there's a strong opportunity, if the Hungarians move up into Poland, I think that's going to be my clue. I'm going to take Silesia because I do not want the Hungarians taking it and being completely wrapped around me. So I may be forced into attacking a little bit sooner than I would normally like. Okay, we've got our tavern built, but we need to get to the castle level before we can get our brothel. So let's see. Do we want? I think probably this is going to be a good income booster. Let's do that, and then the castle. And here, well, let's just do low-level stuff for spears, so we can eventually start getting cav and walls at Austria, and check public order. So there's Byzantine War now. I wonder if they'd be open to an alliance offer if I asked them now. Because maybe their fleets just operate on a different logic from their emissaries, right? I think that's the case certainly in some Total War games, where like the AI can't resist attacking you at sea. Okay, that's good. I think the Hungarians are getting a little concerning. Okay, good. Very good. The Danes have stayed allied with me. That's very comforting. So this is our priest. Where is... Oh, that's a Byzantine priest. Where is the Byzantine king? Can we see an emissary? Yeah, right here, I guess. Let's send this guy down and see if we can get a ceasefire. What's he... Looks like this emissary is on his way someplace. He may be looking for a ceasefire again, which I would be totally fine with, but it's very nice that we're beating their fleets. They've got another one right here in the sea. This is a galley. So, I mean, we may as well stick around. Our defense is better than our attack, so if they're going to attack us, we may. We've got 2 command stars with this guy. We may do okay. It is kind of random how naval engagements work out, though. And so far, I'm not seeing a big Hungarian attack into Poland. Moving their king up to Hungary. Okay. Yep. Okay, we got a ceasefire. If nothing else, our emissary is getting some experience here. Yeah. Ferdinand. He may have been one of our princes, but now he's got all the incest vices, and so he's just in a bad position. That's too bad. Okay, so we've got a nice ceasefire with the Byzantines. Where's their king? Okay, right there. Tri-Friend Alliance. Oh, wait. So we got the ceasefire, but then they attacked us immediately. Okay, fair enough. Two Valor stars on our emissary. If they're going to keep attacking us and then accepting ceasefires, I guess things could be worse. Let's keep the ships here for now since they're seeming so touchy. But I do want to get an assassin going. So here's our assassin. This does not tell you the whole story about assassins. Assassins do kill people. However, they also counter-spy. And so if there are any enemy assassins or spies moving around the map into your province where you have an assassin, there's a chance that your assassin will catch that unit. So I'm going to train up just all of them, and I'm going to get them around to my provinces with my ports. And this is the reason I've not been building border forts. Watchtowers allow you to spy into enemy territories, right? You get a watchtower in Flanders. That allows us to see everything in terms of armies and buildings that are in all the provinces adjacent to it, including Wessex, I guess. But the next level, border forts, provide security against spies and assassins, okay? The problem with that is they work too well, and so it feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little exploity. Like, I wish they didn't work so effectively. You can get past it, but it takes typically a quite high-level agent to move through a place with a border fort. The other problem is because border forts work so well, your own agents are not going to get experience or valor bonuses from capturing other enemy agents. So what I prefer to do is have a nice target like this. Flanders is a good target for enemy agents because it's got a port. Enemy agents love the ports. So they're going to be coming into here, probably Friesland, probably Saxony. I'll get assassins in all of these places, and then I'll get an assassin down in Toulouse. And they're just going to start racking up experience just because they're going to be intercepting enemy assassins enemy spies. That's also going to give me some information potentially about where those agents are coming from, what country their origin is. So those are going to be all very nice things. Let's see, speaking of agents, we did have an emissary. What the heck? We've got a 4-star emissary. This has got to be some famous character. Heinrich von Moringen. I have no idea who this is. If anyone knows, please let me know. I may look this up. But this is, you can get quote-unquote hero units, like generals, after a certain date that roughly corresponds to their period of activity in history. A unit that you train will become like a famous character who is historical, and they'll have some fitting traits and stats, like we've already seen with Henry the Lion, and there's going to be a few others that pop up too. That can also happen with bishops, with emissaries, with assassins even, but I'd forgotten that, and I have no idea who this guy is supposed to be, but hey, that's great. So what we can do is move him. You know, I think emissaries make very tempting targets for AI agents, and so we might move him up towards like Saxony, just to do that, just to sort of inspire an attack. Okay, we said we were going to go up to a castle in Flanders, and let's do it. Because at this point, I mean, I'm feeling a little vulnerable here with how big the Danes are getting. I mean, granted, most of this is low-level thralls, but they could still mob us if they attack. And that's a lot of money, but let's go ahead with a port. If we ever do get a ceasefire with the Byzantines, that's going to be useful. At any rate, it's going to be useful as we get shipping established with Egypt. Okay, so this is one of those events. The Compass Rose, this is a new piece of technology. This is a technological event that signals that you can start training or building some new ships. Now in larger ships, they can sail with confidence across the ocean. So we'll have to see what is available there. All right, the Almohad want to ally with me. And yeah, no, we're going to say no to that. All right, we have a ceasefire with the Byzantines yet again. They didn't attack us this time. He's now just straight up inbred. That's horrible. And so, what are we at? Still 2 stars for that emissary. That's fine. All right, we've got our first assassin here. Take a closer look. Yep, little cloaked, hooded dude. Let's bring him over to Saxony. That's where our emissary is going. And then we'll move him over there as well. Okay, we're just going to keep training those guys. It looks like the Byzantines want another go, which stinks, but we'll see if we can survive that. We may be training more ships out of here. And you know, honestly, it might be good to get ship construction in Friesland as well. It's not much good for much else. 309. Let's see. There's probably other stuff that I want to get working on. Yeah, like in Saxony. This will get us feudal sergeants, but that's not going to be super helpful against the Danes necessarily. Let's see. Let's go this for armor, because I'm worried they're going to train up some heavy armor guys and send them our way. They can get very intimidating Viking Huskarl types. So yeah, this war with Poland and Hungary must be happening over here. But there is a big Hungarian army right on our borders, so let's get ready for that. Urban militia, let's go archers. Urban militia, archers, and let's see. Support cost 45 or 45. These guys are just a lot cheaper. Let's get. Oh, you know what? We need to go to the Swabian swordsmen. They're only going to be available, I think, during the early period. So train them while we got them. Okay, there goes the attack into Poland. And that means we're going into Silesia this coming turn. good. Finally, a good prince without a bad trait. Oh, he's very nice. So, let's send him over to Bohemia. And there's really not much that the Poles have, although looks like they're focusing their armies up here. But look at what they've got. It's mostly Slav warriors, javelin men, stuff we've all seen before. A decent-looking general here, leading some royal knights, and their king in Bohemia with a lot of cav. Alright, let's go with the level of a unit of spearmen. The nice thing about Silesia, I guess, is that we can attack straight into it. Let's go up to Franconia. Okay. So, I think, because this is under siege, the Hungarians are probably not going to go into Silesia next turn. In fact, they may even be driven out. So let's kind of hold off. Slav warriors are just really affordable. We'll get some more archers up there. We'll just get ready. We'll keep getting ready for this. Alright, and I'm very pleased that the Byzantines did not attack us. But in Toulouse, we're all set. We've got our port set up. And now we can start making ships or moving towards that. And the nice thing about this is having a single ship here, we're already going to be trading with Aragon, who does not have any trade goods. So we've got that silk. Another boat is going to get us 2 more ports. So that can be kind of nice. And if we get shipping down here, we can start linking them up in the Mediterranean for like instant transport across the seas, theoretically. All right, let's go with the shipbuilder then, and we're waiting on the port there. Yep, there's that big Polish counterattack into Poland. Really curious who wins that. I'm kind of rooting for the Poles at this point. Okay, he has managed to escape death at the hands of an assassin and managed to turn the tables on his attacker. Okay, that's probably the Byzantines, and the Hungarians withdraw. Good. Here we go. Bodyguards have caught and killed an enemy assassin in Flanders. Man, the sounds for this game are great. Let's go check out our assassin's valor. He should have a star. Yes, he does. Our other assassins do not. They're going to be level 0 until they start getting their own kills. But I knew Flanders was going to be a target. Okay, great. So we've got our emissary up here. Now again, because of the lack of border forts in Trebizond, that we don't know exactly who that assassin was, who tried to kill our emissary. It could be Byzantine. But then again, I don't know if they've been building the infrastructure for assassins. So it could be anybody. If we see a foreign province with border forts and we start getting assassinated there, then it's probably the owning faction doing it. Man, that famine in Lorraine really upsets people, apparently. Okay, yes, we're getting a few more assassins there. Then we're going to switch to something different. I don't have any archers in Saxony, which feels like a mistake. Let's keep these guys together. I'm going to hold off on an attack on Poland until Poland falls. I think that's going to be my criteria. We're still trading with them. We're getting 2 ports worth of trade, and it's all pretty decent stuff. So there's no reason, I think, to start causing trouble. But if Hungary looks too strong, then we'll pile on. I think similarly, let's just consolidate all of this. Okay, he's good. I just want to make sure there's not any bad traits. I mean, perversion, but that's less of a big deal. It hurts piety, right? But that's it. Here we go. We get a nice governor here, or a general. So where do we want to put him in charge of? Any place that has a command star would be nice. Maybe I want him up at Saxony. It seems kind of fitting, you know? Let's send him up there. He won't be commanding it, but we could give him the command of some place, theoretically. Okay, what is this from, even? Let's just disband these guys, quite honestly. I don't need 4 peasants. We may as well retrain those spearmen, I guess, and train a unit of archers. I just kind of want to have some stuff. Income's going down slightly. Okay, but that was our keep in Burgundy. What do we want to do anything else here? This is a weird one because it feels very crucial, but it's relatively easy to defend. You've got a river battle coming from these 2 provinces, really all of these 3, so it's very well defended. Even without that, it goes into highlands and stuff. So if we're attacked here, they're going to be fighting in the mountains, right? So it feels like you don't need that much defense. But it's also not that great for income. I mean, it's got a tradable good, but the income's kind of low. So I never feel like pushing it towards troop production. Same with Lorraine, actually. Probably what we ought to do is just start making this place a little bit happier. Okay. No big Hungarian counterattack into Poland, at least yet. And I need to get somebody over around here. I want to see what's going on in Wallachia. There's a big attack against the French. Okay, they're starting to hit me in the Holy Land. I'm thinking this is probably the Byzantines. Antioch, we lost a rank 0 governor. Well, he was the inbred guy, so that's fine. Alright, Antioch, there's our port, which is actually good. Now we can get assassins straight down there to start counter-spying. Okay. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's take you. Let's take the 1-star guy. Bring him down here, and let's go with keep training some. Now we've got a flashing goblet. It's only 1173, so this is not Homelands. What is this? Oh, this is the Crusade updating again because the French lost it. Okay. So Edessa is now in play. I'm not going to be pushing for Edessa. We are currently at peace with the Byzantines. I don't really care about Edessa all that much. We will just wait. Now, they are feeling confident enough to leave this completely empty. So I could just move on it, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to start another war. I mean, they may start another war anyway because they've got suicidal boats, but yeah, let's just wait. Okay, Friesland, we're going to go to keep now, and then we're going to start producing ships out of there too. Yeah, look at that consolidation. All those Polish troops moving down to Poland, over into Volhynia. All right, Magnificent Builder. That's increasing loyalty all across the board. Very, very nice. All right, Saxony has finished, I guess, the militia sergeant's place. Let's get one of those guys, and Yeah, feudal sergeants, I think. We're going to need that anyway. And there's going to be some royal knights to deal with, potentially. But yes, we're moving you up to Saxony to guard there. We're going to try to get a decent army up in this region. We've got just regular Swabian swordsmen here. If we are attacked, it's not going to be great. We don't have anything fantastic, but I don't think the Poles are going to. If they start moving troops into Silesia, then we're in trouble. They could theoretically strike out and hit us in Bohemia and Brandenburg from Poland. But I think where they're at war with the Hungarians, they're not likely to do that. Let's get a bunch of bishops going, and I want to start exploring up around here. Oh, the Danes are attacking the French. Okay. Wow. Good for them. Heretics and vile perverts. It is the Cathars. Okay. So, this is a problem in terms of unrest, potentially. We're going to see when we look at the provincial details, there's going to be heresy showing up. And that is potentially going to be a problem. All right, so the Poles want to ally, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that. All right, do I want to remain allied to the French? No. I want to stay allied with the Danes. Do I? Oh, come on. Danes. All right, what's more important? We've got a... I think I do not want to remain allied to the Spanish. I want to stick with the Danes, see what they do. All right, that earned us another homeland, 13 points. We get the full count there. And we're behind, actually. The Byzantines snuck ahead of us. They got a bunch of their homelands back, although they do not have Rhodes or Cyprus. That is very interesting. So there must have been a civil war or just rebellion. They also do not have Serbia. I think that was... I don't think they ever had that. The Hungarians did. But they have conquered. They've conquered 8 provinces somehow. That's probably in the steppe. I think taking back your homelands might also count as conquest. But yeah, look at this. The Hungarians still very strong in the area around Kiev. And then let's go into Moldavia. I want to go to Carpathia as well. Let's go to Volhynia first, though. We know that the Poles are probably not beyond this point to the east. They've emptied out Prussia. All right, I don't think we need to worry about the French. They're probably going to be eliminated again fairly soon. How are the Danes doing, though? Not great. I mean, the thing is, every single province they conquer is another point for them. So given time, they could do very well indeed. And they could start attacking the Spanish in Spain. I mean, that's the really interesting thing here. So let's get another spy down to, let's see, he's already Antioch. We'll get one in Tripoli. And then we've got one extra spy, I think, which we could move, yes, down to Toulouse. And that's all of our port provinces. So I'm going to switch over now to barks. Start getting some ships again. But speaking of ships, we can now train them in Toulouse. And again, we can't train any boats out of the dockyard yet. But now that we've had the compass event, we can start upgrading these. So let's go with a watchtower in Toulouse, and let's go with a bark. We can train mounted crossbowmen here if we really wanted to. Did I accidentally move this unit up here? I don't think I meant to move these spearmen up here. We'll keep them down in Franconia. I think that was an accident. I was probably trying to move these guys up to Saxony, but actually, on second thought, in Silesia, we'll do just fine. Okay, so Edessa has of course fallen to the Byzantines. Yeah, no border forts in here. That's the thing. The Byzantines start off with a lot built in Constantinople, but no watchtowers, and so they almost never, or at least it takes them a very long time to build watchtowers and border forts. So that makes this actually kind of a soft target for getting spies and assassins. So, you know, if I had an extra spy, I could move him down here and start killing stuff theoretically, although it is a little bit risky. We're going to get some new glorious achievement goals here in this season. Looks like the Italians have Grenada at this point. The Spanish have Leon. Okay, and the Poles are pretty strong in Volhynia. It's interesting, I would have thought the Hungarians could have taken care of this. Alright, let's see. Yes, we've got a couple of interesting new goals. So Conquest is still the same, Crusades are all still there. Homelands, no new homelands. We've still got our 8, 9, 10, 11, yep, 13. And we've got the Holy Roman Empire again. So this is going to kick in at 1204. So we've got some time to make this happen. It's all the same provinces: Milan, Rome, Naples, and Tuscany. If things remain quiet, that may be something I attempt in the next episode, I'm thinking, because I don't want to start it too early before 1204. We've got, what, 30 turns or so before that kicks in. So we don't want to start holding it and then lose it, right? We want to get it and then get the credit for it. Drangnak Austin, though, this is a brand new one for us. The drive to the east is called for by your knights eager for new fiefdoms and titles, but will be fiercely resisted by the pagan tribes. Points are counted in 1204, 1260, and 1320. Imperial armies must control Prussia, Livonia, and Silesia. And Prussia gives us the most, so let's see. Prussia, Livonia, and Silesia. So Pomerania is not here. What does this mean? Well, I think this is sort of intended to be like the Northern Crusades, something like that, where you had largely German, but with other support. Like I think the English went on a crusade in the Northeast as well against the Slavs and so on. But this is probably what that is. Unfortunately, we can't crusade to Silesia or Prussia currently because they've been taken over by the Catholic Polish faction. However, Livonia is a valid option, and so I'm kind of thinking about it. I mean, it would be a little ridiculous. Livonia would put us at war with the people of Novgorod, who are quite strong. So we would want to get our forces together. It would not be a long crusade. It starts here, we'd go through our own territory. We'd probably take ship. We might not even move through Poland, right? It might be that our crusade would force us to go to Saxony and then just take our ships over straight to Livonia, which would kind of be okay. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to set this to happen. So let's plan for it a little bit. Let's get our archers together. And let's, because we're going to need stuff to take out all of their archers and these Vikings. Very dangerous troops, but relatively light. So we're going to plan for that here. And then the other two, we've got Prussia and we've got Silesia. Of course, let me just double check. Yeah, Prussia, Livonia, and Silesia. Prussia is the biggest one. That's going to get us 2 points. That's not so much, but again, we're only behind the Byzantines by a couple of points here. So that will help. It'll give us control over this region, which does have some wax, which is a relatively rare trade good. If we control this and we can start trading with all of these ports in the North Sea and down into Spain, that'll be pretty nice. We do not have the goal to take Pomerania or Poland. So this would be another one where we attack probably by ship, which we could do like right now. Oh my gosh, we could. We could just sneak attack Poland. Now, again, I don't think that's a good idea because they've got all of these troops that could easily counterattack. But it would certainly show the Hungarians were on the right side, wouldn't it? So I think we do this. Let's go for... who do we want to attack first? Let's get ready and attack the Poles first. and then we'll get our crusade going up to Livonia. We're going to probably need to pay a little more for this crusade because it's not one of our red crusading Catholic targets. The Pope might want us to shell out a little more cash for this, but it is a valid target, so it can happen. So I think we found our goal for the next episode, folks. We're going to gather our forces and get ready to attack the Poles in Prussia, attack Silesia, overrun that pretty quickly. That should be pretty easy to do. And once we have it, any attacks from Poland are going to have to go over a bridge. So we've got a nice river waterway here. We're going to have to defend Bohemia, so we'll probably keep all of these forces here. But I'm thinking with Hungary to the south, the Poles are going to be less likely, or they're going to feel less secure about throwing all their weight at us because they've got this other war. They might even be okay with a ceasefire. If we take Silesia and Prussia really fast with big, strong armies, and we show that we're strong in Bohemia, we show that we're strong in Brandenburg, which we're not currently, but we get forces there. Then we say, okay, Poles, we're done, ceasefire. They might be okay with that. We leave them with Pomerania and Poland and Volhynia, for now anyway, and then we move on to the Crusade in Livonia and try something similar up here. Now, this is going to be really tricky because this is a very rebellious province. I believe this and Lithuania are very hard to hold, but I think it's good for us to start thinking about this because the Danes are going to have a similar goal themselves. They may even already. Nope, so far it's just homelands and conquest, but eventually their homelands are going to include Livonia, if I remember correctly. So we want to get this and start really controlling the Baltic. So I hope you'll join me for the next episode. Until then, everybody, take care.